I mean, you mentioned the power, Spence, and interestingly, the power against Chris Eubank Jr. in the second fight. I mean, I think that's probably a false representation because Eubank was so shot in that fight, but we've seen him carry power down at 147. We saw him carry power against Chris van der Herden. We saw him carry power against Chris Algieri. We saw him carry power against Samuel Vargas. If we see that translation, then we might see something different than we expect from Conor, maybe not?
Absolutely. Listen, at the peak of his powers, if he can deliver that sort of performance...
Ahead of the Ryan Garcia-Conor Benn showdown, not everyone is buying into the idea that this fight will go the way the champion expects. Simon Jordan is urging caution, pointing to the kind of thrilling high-energy style Conor Benn brings that could flip the script in a hurry.
Whatever we do or don't think about the matchmaking that's enabled Conor to do so well, he's an exciting fighter, and it will be an exciting fight with Garcia because he brings his own brand of excitement and opportunity to observe in.
Spencer Oliver isn't dismissing the idea either. He admits that if Benn shows up firing on all cylinders, he has a real shot at the upset. Part of that comes from cracks he has spotted in Garcia, who looked sluggish against Mario Barrios. But there's an asterisk. Making 147 again after years away raises doubts that he can still carry his full force there.
Absolutely. Listen, at the peak of his powers, if he can deliver that sort of performance, then of course he's got a shot, because we've seen Ryan Garcia, against Mario Barrios, he didn't look particularly good. He looked very flat in that fight. So we've seen him when he's not looked particularly good. So, of course, he has an opportunity, but...
Jordan makes his praise for Conor Benn clear, but that doesn't stop him from pointing out what's working against him. His skepticism comes down to a resume. Benn is facing a man who shared a ring with Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney, a different tier entirely. Jordan contrasts that with Benn's last outing, a win over a drained Eubank Jr., insisting it comes down to levels.
But you guys are always telling me one thing. It's about levels, right? Mm-hmm. And with respect to Conor, who I very much like as well, going in against a completely dehydrated and demoralised Chris Eubank because his physicality and health isn't in good condition, are going in against Ryan Garcia, who's fought at this level, who's fought Gervonta Davis, who's fought Devin Haney. Okay, there's been some controversy behind that, but notwithstanding that, we're talking about levels here. And are you all really beginning to make a case for Conor Benn to win this fight?
Gareth Ace Davies shifts the focus to Benn's trajectory, breaking down a fighter entering his prime at 29. There's real respect for the talent on display, but the physical toll of the cutback to 147 pounds looms large. This is a man built for the higher divisions, not shrinking down to make them.
The peak of his powers, he should be fighting at middleweight now, physically. He's not a big middleweight. He's not a big middleweight. He's not a big light middleweight. He's a welterweight size. He's not a huge man. But the problem is, when you go up, it's hard to come down again, as history dictates, because they cannot make a catch weight 150 fight for the WBC belt. If they don't want to fight for the belt, I don't have any issues with it. It's a great prize fight between two of the modern stars of the sport. Conor Benn's crossed over. He is a box office star through thinner and thicker, controversy and the like.
That concern feeds straight into his read on the stakes at hand. He flags real danger for Benn if the weight drains him against a puncher like Garcia, whose left hook carries fight-ending power. The consensus leans toward a Garcia stoppage unless Benn can land something decisive of his own first. Benn will need to stay sharp, composed, and avoid giving Garcia any clean opening.
Controversy and the like. He's got star character and star qualities. If he's going to make 147, if he's good at the weight, it'll be a good fight. If he has really struggled at the weight, he's going to struggle against Garcia, who is a massive puncher at welterweight with both left and right hooks, notably that left hook. It's a dangerous fight for him. I think it'll deliver all the way to the fight, but I'm afraid I think he'll get knocked out by Ryan Garcia, unless he knocks Garcia out himself.
Digging deeper into knockout prediction, Paulie doesn't hedge on his prediction. So, he calls a Garcia win inside 6 rounds, pointing to a gap in both skill and power, too wide for Benn to realistically close. In his eyes, this isn't a fight that goes the distance. The disparity is simply too pronounced for Benn to survive deep into the later rounds.
Garcia Benn, I mean, a lot of people saying that Garcia is too skilled.
Ryan knocks him out. The fight doesn't go 6 rounds, in my opinion. Ryan knocks him out. Why
is that? Is that the disparity in skill?
Yeah, I mean, disparity in skill, disparity in power. I don't think Conor Benn's that good, bro. I mean, I think it's obvious he's not that good, but, you know, Ryan Garcia is a very good fighter.
Pressed further on where Ben actually stands, Paulie is just as blunt about the assessment. He doesn't believe Ben has reached the level required to share a ring with Garcia, framing this matchup as less of a genuine contest and more of a golden opportunity for Garcia to make a truly destructive statement.
Himself, and I think, you know, as a champion, Ryan will understand the responsibility on his shoulders as well to elevate his game. He's already at a very good level. He's already a very good fighter, but this fight is an opportunity for him to make a statement because he's fighting a guy who's got a big name, but also a guy who probably doesn't belong in the ring with him. And so I think he's got a chance to do something of a statement in this fight by getting, you know, a massive destructive type of victory, and I think that that's probably what happens in the fight.
Turning to Ryan Garcia's own outlook, he describes his footwork as effortlessly fluid, slicing angles to cut Ben off around the ring. He doesn't stop there, branding this bout as a textbook finish waiting to happen. Garcia is confident he'll close the show within 5 rounds, especially once the action intensifies and the pressure starts to mount. Ben has nowhere left to escape.
I don't know, man. He doesn't really give me, I don't feel anything from him. I'm telling you, it's going to be one of those things where it's like butter. I cut him off and boom. You're going to see, like, it's going to be one of those performances that people will be like, all right, Ryan's here. He's here to stay. And he definitely made it clear that he's not somebody to play with.
Like a master
Especially
class.
as a world champion. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those vintage knockouts.
Additionally, Simon Jordan turns to how Ben leaned into a pantomime villain role throughout his previous bout, a persona that ended up paying off commercially. He's careful to separate the man from the marketing, calling Ben a nice boy at heart while suggesting the way his camp navigated past controversies left something to be desired.
I think he inhabited the role of the pantomime villain in it. So he played the gallery a little bit, and he became an angry young man for the gallery.
Yeah.
And that monetized the fight and made him very wealthy as a result of it. And people have got mixed emotions. I think Conor's a very nice boy. I always have done. I think that they, as Spencer alluded to, I don't think the way that situation was handled was particularly admirable, and by a load of people. I think the people around him should have been giving him better advice. I have great respect for his father, great admiration for his father's career. So following in someone's footsteps, who was as good as Nigel Benn, is always going to be challenging for Conor. So with that in mind, he occupies a certain space, but he has not taken an easy route.
Building on that, Spencer Oliver draws a clear line between where each fighter actually stands right now in their respective careers. He acknowledges Ben has cashed in and been carefully matched, often against opponents who'd already been drained on the scales, but he's quick to point out that isn't the same thing as truly proving himself against elite-level competition.
Garcia's a proven world champion, so he belongs at that level. He is an elite-level fighter, you know. For Conor Benn, we don't know because he's never boxed at that level. He's been very well matched. You know, he's boxed fighters that have been weight drained. He's earned a hell of a lot of money, and ultimately, that is what it's all about.
But still question marks around him, though, because of what happened. He was suspended for a year following positive tests for performance-enhancing drug Osterine.
Absolutely, and he's paid the price for that.
Continuing that thread, Spencer frames this fight as Ben's long-awaited shot at the title he's chased for years. A moment he's been building toward his whole career. He calls it the known against the unknown. A real test that could make or break Ben's credibility for good. In the end, though, Spencer doesn't hesitate to say he's backing Garcia to come out on top.
Opportunity to, you know, fulfill his dream of winning a world title, and we've got the proven in Ryan Garcia against the unproven in Conor Benn because he's never boxed at that level. Let's see if he can back up what he says, how he talks, and it's an intriguing one. That's why I put it down as one of my fights that I really wanted to see this because it's the known against the unknown, and Conor Benn has done a lot of talking, and now it's time to deliver. This is the launch pad for him, the acid test.
But you're both telling me it's going to be a tough night for Ben.
Weighing in with his own pick, Robert Garcia lays out why he sees a knockout win coming Ryan Garcia's way. He gives Ben his due as a warrior, but points to his recent struggles making 147 pounds as a real disadvantage heading in. What tips it for him is Ryan Garcia's power paired with what he calls unbelievable speed. A combination he believes will be enough to find and hurt Ben once the fight opens up.
But Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn, who do you favor in that? Who do you think is going?
I think Ryan. Look, Conor's a warrior.
Yeah.
Look, he's a warrior, but he hasn't made 147 in a long time. I think that's gonna hurt him.
Yeah.
That's gonna really hurt him. To get to 147 is gonna really hurt him. And Ryan hits hard and is tremendously, unbelievably fast. So I think he catches. I think Ryan catches him and hurts him and knocks him out. But
he stops Conor Benn.
I think so. But Conor, like I said, Conor Benn's a warrior. But I think at 147 it's gonna be too difficult for him.